Please follow along in your bulletin, unison prayer of illumination. Holy God, your blessings are abundant, and your wisdom exceeds our grasp. Fill us with your Spirit as we hear your word this day, that we may be justice seekers and peacemakers, sharing your life among those who are forgotten, weak, or persecuted, and revealing to all your grace. First scripture this morning is Micah. In the bulletin it says 1 through 8. We're just doing verse 8. He has showed you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God.
Thank you, Dale. Walk humbly with your God. The second passage comes from the book of Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, from the Sermon on the Mount, the beginning of this long sermon. It's familiar to you. It's been preached to you many times. I'll give my shot to it today. Seeing the crowds, he went up on the mountain, and when he sat down, his disciples came to him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For so they persecuted the prophets who were before you. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God for the gift of his word. No, the cover's not upside down. It's the way it's supposed to be. Sometimes the world does seem upside down. Question on the front, though, asks, I will be happy when? I will be happy when? Can you answer that? Can you finish the sentence? I will be happy when? Probably a million ways to answer that. I'll be happy when I grow up and move away from home. I'll be happy when summer comes and I don't have to go to school. I'll be happy when I fall in love and get married. I will be happy when I can buy a new car. I will be happy when I get promoted. I will be happy when I can retire. I will be happy when they lay me to rest or Jesus comes. When will you be happy? What will it take? What are the chances it's going to happen? How long will it take? A year? 5 years? 50 years? Jesus has some wisdom on the subject. His wisdom might not make much sense to you. What he has to say seems to be exactly backwards. Upside down, if you will. When you hear what he has to say, you're likely to write off his wisdom as religious gobbledygook. Something so high-flying that rubber never hits the road. But don't dismiss Jesus too quickly. Many people have tested Jesus' wisdom, found it to be true. It just takes a bit of getting used to. Jesus said, Blessed are the poor in spirit. Well, the first thing Jesus does is change the vocabulary. He doesn't talk about happiness, although some versions of the Bible do say happiness, but the better translation is blessed. Makarios is actually the Greek word. Makarios means blessed. Blessed is the better word because of the ways we use happy. Happiness is taking the summer off, or getting promoted, or getting a new car, or, hey boys, watching the 49ers beat the Chiefs, huh? Yeah. I don't know. That's what their happiness is. Jesus has something different in mind. Something that goes deeper. Something that seems strange at first. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are the gentle. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness. Now you see what I mean by upside down. Those are not the rules that the world goes by. Those are not the rules. Blessed are the rich because they can buy what they want. Blessed are the strong because they can take what they want. Blessed are the winners because it's no fun being a loser. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst in the best restaurants because they will be pampered and indulged and filled. But Jesus says, blessed are the poor in spirit. He goes even further, giving us a total of 9 Beatitudes. I cannot do justice to all 9 of them in the limited time that Linda has given me. And I know that you've heard them. I know that you have heard them all before. So I'm only going to treat the first of the Beatitudes. Now, I think this is a valid approach, because if you are in sync with the first Beatitude, then you will be in sync with the rest of them. On the other hand, if you're not in sync with the first one, you're not in sync with any of the others either. So I think just the first one will be sufficient for us today. Jesus says, blessed are the poor in spirit. The Greek word translated poor here, as John knows, is tohos, right? We talked about that on Wednesday. Tohos. It means poverty. True poverty. It's a cruel thing. It breaks people. They suffer, confronted daily with their own helplessness. They know the difference even a small act of mercy can make. They watch eagerly for a gesture or a glance that might promise help. They long for a bit of kindness. They crave a bit of dignity. And I'm proud to say that's what Carol's Cupboard does. Gives people who are tohos, people who are in need, hope. Gives them dignity. Standing before God, the poor in spirit are like that. They bring nothing in their hands that God needs, and nothing in their hearts that compels God to accept them. They come in their poverty, hoping for sustenance. They come in their brokenness, hoping to be mended. They come in their sin, hoping to be forgiven. They come in their grief, hoping to be comforted. They come in their illness, hoping to be healed. They do not come bargaining with God because they have nothing to offer. It is precisely their humility, their openness, that makes them fertile soil to receive God's blessings. So Jesus says, blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who come to God on their knees. That's not our preferred mode of travel, on our knees. We prefer to be in control. We prefer to pay for what we get. We prefer not to have anyone in our debt. We prefer to walk up and lay cash on the barrelhead. Jesus says, blessed are the poor in spirit. We fight hard not to be poor in spirit. We try to get the best grades we can so that we can get the best job that we can. We work hard as we can, and we do the best that we can. We try desperately to be in control of our lives. But Jesus says, blessed are the poor in spirit. Our best efforts leave us exhausted. On March 6, 1995, Newsweek ran a cover in which there's only one word in large, bold letters, which should be up there at any time soon. But guess what that one word is? I know, Shannon is exhausted. That's what it said. There it is. Oh, all right, yes. The article told people, the article inside, they didn't make this stuff up. The article told people on the inside that even the president of Harvard, from president of Harvard to housewives to single moms to fathers trying to juggle 2 jobs, all these people were exhausted. And I was talking with some people on the way in today, and that's exactly what they were saying to me then. They are exhausted. So much they're trying to do. So I know we can identify that, but Jesus says, blessed are the poor. Say it with me. Blessed are the poor in spirit. You heard that. Blessed are the poor in spirit. We've got to do that again.
Blessed are the poor in spirit.
Amen. All right. Blessed are the poor in spirit is what Jesus said. We are exhausted. In part, I think, because we are not poor in spirit. We're proud. So desperate to be in control, so desperate to do it our way. And so we spend so much energy on trivial things. We work long hours to buy things we don't need, to impress people we don't like. Why do we do it? I found this quote. American men are obsessed with money. American women are obsessed with weight. The men talk of gain, the women talk of loss. And I don't know which is the more boring. But Jesus says, blessed are the poor in spirit. In this book, The Way to Go, Gilbert Brown tells about a young boy admitted to the hospital with terrible injuries. Shortly thereafter, the boy's father arrived. It was clear from his manner and his clothing that the father had money and was accustomed to giving orders. As the doctor tried to care for the boy, the father began to shout, "Why aren't you doing something? I want the best care that money can buy. I want you to fly into the best specialist in the country. Do something for my boy." The physician turned to the father and said, "There is nothing your money can do for your boy. All you can do is wait and pray." When I read about that story, I wondered about that father. My first thought was that he probably didn't know how to pray. He was used to demanding what he wanted and buying what he wanted. I doubted that he knew how to pray for what he wanted. I felt sorry for him because he was facing the most terrible crisis of his life, and his stunted spirituality left him badly unprepared. But Jesus said, blessed are the poor in spirit. Come on, people. Jesus said, blessed are the poor in spirit. You believe that? Then say it like that. Jesus says, blessed are the poor in spirit. Yes, now we're getting it. So it occurred to me in this terrible moment that might have brought this man face to face with his own inadequacy. It struck me that it was very possible that in the crisis, the father might have recognized the deep need that he had been so long ignored. It occurred to me in that moment the father might have become poor in spirit, able finally to approach God on his knees, able to acknowledge that he had nothing to bring to the table, able to plead for God's mercy. It struck me that this might have been a turning point in his life, that in his brokenness he might have been able for the first time to receive God's blessings. When it is upside down, when the world is not making sense, we are brought to our knees. We can remember what Jesus says, blessed are the poor in spirit. Henry Nouwen, the late Catholic priest and author, met Mother Teresa in Rome. He said that the first thing he noticed about her was her constant focus on Jesus. People were asking questions, and she was answering in a way that reflected her total focus on Jesus. Her answers sounded at first blush simplistic and naive, but now one sensed not only her personal strength, but also the subtle power of her answers. When Noah finally had the opportunity to speak with Mother Teresa, he told her of his problems. He spoke of his struggles, and he asked her advice. She answered simply, "If you spend 1 hour a day in contemplative prayer and never do anything which you know is wrong, you will be all right." Listen to that one more time. Sounds simplistic, doesn't it? Spend 1 hour a day in contemplative prayer and never do anything which you know is wrong. Then you will be all right. No one says, with those simple words, she answered none, as well as all, of my problems at the same time. It was now up to me to be willing to move to the place where the answer could be heard. Blessed are the poor in spirit. The meaning of this first beatitude, and of all the beatitudes, is that God blesses us when we come to God with empty hands, bowing before the throne, ready to receive whatever blessing God chooses to give us, ready to follow whatever path God chooses to lead us on. The promise is this: blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Only 2 of these beatitudes are in present tense, the first and the last. Jesus doesn't say theirs will be or shall be the kingdom of heaven, but that it is. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. We do not have to wait for the kingdom. Jesus says that it has come near. We can enter it now. I'm tempted to conclude the sermon here by saying that be poor in spirit so you'll receive God's blessings. And that isn't what Jesus says. He doesn't issue an order, but instead it's a blessing. He promises that when our need is greatest, there we will find God. And there we will find a blessing. In that upside-down view of life, that is when we will be happy. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is